Hey everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support and for choosing my all-in-one product business template. My name is Michael and I'm the creator of Serenata's templates. In this video, I will walk you through everything step by step so you can fully understand how to use it. As you can tell, English isn't my first language, so if I make small, probably big, mistakes along the way, I hope you will understand. And I'll do my best to explain everything as clearly as possible. So let's get started. Just like any other template, we're starting with the instructions tab. It's usually the first tab and has all the details and guidance you need so you can start using my templates. So on the instructions tab, you can find a place where you have a quick overview of the templates functionality, explaining briefly a few features so you can have a bigger picture of the template. And further below, you can find an instructions index where you can jump directly into the section that you are interested in most. So make sure that you read the instructions from the instructions page or from the tabs instruction hidden column I have almost on every tab, just by clicking the plus symbol here. Just by clicking it, the tabs instruction will be revealed, so it's very useful while you are navigating the template. Also, it's worth mentioning that many sections, titles or areas has a black triangle at the corner or a light bulb with a triangle. That usually notes that I've included on many sections of the template, so you can take a quick understanding of each section. So let's start with the setup page. Here in the setup page, you have the option to set the start date, currency, unit cost calculated based on latest price or average of price, and the default tax rate you're going to use mostly with your income and expense entries. Start date, it indicates on the template the month that you are starting using this template. On 2027, you can come back here and change it to 1st of January of 2027, keeping all the records and all the details you were submitting over the 2026 year, but you will view the financial data for the 2027. That way you can have a record of all your entries and all your business, but every time you can select which period you want to track. Now, below we have a few categories that we have to fill in, like category list, measures that you're using in your business, payment methods, client tier. Client tier, it's an automated feature that assign a tier on each client based on on his purchases. Follow-up actions, payment terms, and the print invoice information that will be displayed on the invoice that you are going to issue for your clients. One important thing here is that color-coded areas, usually it's not meant to be edited. In this case, it's also protected. For example, if you go to change it or type something, you will get a message that warning you. Of course, you can bypass it, but color-coded areas that you are getting a warning message, I'm not suggesting to edit it because a formula runs behind it based on that entry. So feel free to change every other area of that follow-up actions, but don't change the no action needed in this case. Same on income and expense categories. Invoice, payment, receivable collected, and payable settled categories are color-coded, which means would be better if not change it because the template uses them for calculations. Also here, you are listing the income categories and expense categories that you are going to use for your reports, for income and expense entries. For example, here you have to list anything that deduct money from your business, and here anything that brings money to your business. Monthly profit goals, you can fill your goals for each month. The template calculates the 12-month profit goal, and you have 4 options for the salaries, which is expenses, extra of these 6. That's pretty much the setup page. Let's go now with the first most important tab. It's inventory item stock levels. In this tab, you are listing every item and every product material, no matter what it is, that your business dealing with. For example, this might be a number glass jar or something. Everything should be listed here. Every invoice or everything that you will produce within the template or sell or buy will be retrieved based on these entries. So make sure that the entries that you have here are accurate, are correct, and has all the details that you need in order to locate them while using the template. In our case, we made a material entry among product, material, packaging, components, supplies, equipment and tools, pro materials, digital goods, or maintenance. We made an entry, we've selected the measure type, we've set the initial quantity, that's the quantity we had on our possession the time we start using this template. The minimum quantity is the minimum quantity that defines the minimum acceptable stock level of this item. Unit cost is color coded, so the template will make the calculations. Recipe, it's gray because it will turn white only when we select product. By selecting product, you will be able to select the recipe for that product. Later we will figure out every recipe and production, how it's working. Next, you can use the category and assign a category based on the predefined categories you have from the setup page, and the template handles the rest. Shows you the on-hand quantity, the stock status for each item, total in, total out, inventory value, and lasting date. Lasting date shows when was the last date that the item entered your inventory. Next, after that, let's go directly, before we explore anything else, on the 4 most important tabs of this template. In tab, it's the purchases and inventory, which means it's everything that enters your inventory. It's anything you buy for your business. Either it's material, either it's product for resale. Anything that enters your inventory, have to submit it here. For example, let's start with this one. With this entry, template knows that on January 12th of 2026, we received an invoice with a delivery date of 2026 of January 22, that the goods received, the invoice number, what was the due date. For some reason here it's empty, we can set the due date at the end of the month, from this supplier with this payment method. So this is an entry where we're letting know the template that we received the goods. What goods we've received? These beeswax pellets or amber glass also on the same invoice, 0.9, or also cotton wicks, okay, etc. We can submit up to 6 product or materials. So we've received it, okay, and the total amount of that invoice was 219.85. From here, the color-coded cells are calculated automatically based on the unit price of each entry. Based on the unit price of each entry, the discount we've set, and the tax rate, The template calculates the subtotal, the discount, the tax, and the total amount, and gives us the invoice status. This invoice is unpaid. Paid amount, it's empty, so we haven't paid that invoice. With the due amount, the whole amount. So in that case, we've received that invoice, but we haven't paid it yet. In order for this invoice considered as paid, we have to come over here on the expenses and make an entry. For the invoice 082, we have to make an entry of this amount. So let's say today, for the invoice 92, invoice payment or resale products might be, or anything else. I will use this one now. I will explain later why you can use another category instead of this one. But for now, I will use this one, invoice payment, payable, settled. Okay. If I go at the end, I can see the total amount for that invoice. It's 219. So 219.85. Okay. So let's say 20%, 24%, sorry. Okay. And if we come back over here at this invoice, we will notice now that it's fully paid. So, what's the difference of these two tabs compared to these two tabs? These tabs indicates what's entered and goes out from our inventory based on the invoices. Something can enter our inventory without necessarily deduct money from our cash flow. When money added or deducted from our cash flow, it's happening based on the entries we have in these two tabs. So these in and out tabs are responsible for anything about invoices and inventory, and these two tabs has to do about money. We can make also a sale of something. Okay, invoice issued, everything, submit the invoice number, all the details, the client name that paid with credit card, everything, the amount. Okay, he bought soy candle, 5 pieces. But this one, if it's not fully paid, it's revenue for the business. An invoice issued toward a client without money added to our bank account yet. Once we come over here and submit an entry with this invoice, okay, then and only then will be considered as positive cash flow into our bank account. So let's make a test entry. For example, let's find something that it's no stock. Okay, it's this one, diffuser glass bottle 100 ml. So I've decided to purchase today. Okay, order placed, I've received the items, so invoice received, delivery date, let's say today also, good received, with video test in for invoice, due date is for 20 at the end of the month, from this supplier, bank account, okay, let's say diffuser glass bottle, is that one? Yes, diffuser glass bottle, let's say 50 with the price of 1.5. Okay, so I purchased 50 of this one. I haven't yet received it. So here, if I go over here, it's still no stock. I have first of all submitted as received. I have to check this box. Now we're in stock with 50 pieces. Okay, perfect. Now, if I come back over here, these items with total price of $75 is unpaid. I received the invoice, I received the items, I haven't paid yet. Let's take it one step further. Let's say we're working for 2027. I'm changing the year for 2027. Okay, perfect. And I want the reports for 2027. Okay. Here, what I have, invoice received payable $75. I haven't yet paid that, but it's revenue for my business for month of February because I received an invoice toward my business for that amount. If I come over here and submit an entry for the invoice, this one, okay, let's say it's for resale products, the amount of $75. Perfect. It's from this one, great, everything else is okay. And come back over here, I will notice that this resale product has $75 now. And that's because I paid for that. So over here, this invoice is fully paid. The items are in my inventory, okay? And that's also an expense for my business. And it's also a negative cash flow for my business, which means that this entry deducts $75 from my account. If I had no entry here, I haven't paid anything. Okay. The invoice is still unpaid. I have this amount as revenue, but in my balance, it's not here because I haven't paid anything yet. So once I've submitted, it's here. I made an expense of $75 deducted from my account. So is that clear how in and out is working? And how income and expense working? It's two different things. The one indicates the invoices and the items for my business. The other indicates the amount and payments for my business. That way the template can track cash flow and revenue separately again. So let's get back to our template. 26, okay. Perfect. Now, every time I purchase something, I've submitted here. When I sell something, I submit it here. Order sent, document number, due date, client, everything. What I sold, how many, unit price. Once I collect payments or pay someone, I've submitted here. And the most important, if it's for an invoice, never forget to select the invoice that has to do with this entry. If I don't select the invoice number, the template will sit as a separate revenue stream, income stream. So always I'm selecting the appropriate invoice number. Either it's income or expense when it has to do with an invoice either from our business, either from a supplier. And based on these 4 tabs, templates calculate the revenue in this one, and this one tab, and cash flow. Now we understand how in and out and income and expense tabs work and the difference of them. Of course, if you have any question or anything, you can contact me anytime. You can review the tabs instructions, explain everything in detail. Of course, you can come back over here and take a look on this one, how this template works, explain purchase, the sales, the inventory, everything. Invoices vs payments, what the difference is, anything will explain here. So now we've submitted something that enters our inventory, something that leaves our inventory, the money to our bank account and the deducted money from our bank account. Let's get back to the rest tabs. Next we have the recipes tab. Recipes tab is an easy way for you to assign into a specific product a recipe. So every time you submit a production, for example, today I completed soy candles with this recipe 5. With this entry, the template knows that should add 5 soy candles into your inventory and deduct the materials equal to 5 based on the recipe. So over here, this recipe needs this. So the template will deduct all this in order to give you 5 candles. That's an easy way for you to avoid every time to submit something that enters, in this case, 5 candles, even if there is no invoice. Okay. Where is it? Zero unit price. Okay. Goods received. So now we have 5 candles into our inventory, but we have to remove the materials for these candles. So you have to submit each material separately. So just to avoid all these entries, every time you produce something based on the materials you have, you can assign one time the materials you're using, assign a recipe name, and produce. The items will be added only when this one is completed. In progress or cancelled doesn't count. Also, for some reason, you can assign different recipe. For example, you might produce vanilla bean with this one, with this recipe. Okay, we'll deduct the recipes, the materials, multiplied by 5, these materials. You can submit up to 50 recipes, so you can have a production of, you can have recipes for up to minimum 50 products, because even that I have French croissant, I might had soy candle recipe, for example, and had the same quantities. Also, you can jump in any recipe by selecting it, go. Okay, perfect. Now, that's with recipes and production tabs. Next, we have suppliers management tab. This is the tab where you list all your suppliers, their ID, name, contact person, email, all their details, payment terms. You can have a checkbox just for your reference, including these cells as a reliability rating, quality rating. It's just for your reference. And financial insights. These are automated, showing the total orders to the supplier, total purchased amount, paid amount, due amount. It's an easy reference for you to see what you owe to every supplier, how much you paid, how many orders you have, everything. Next, similar, we have the clients management tab. Here you are listing all your clients. But instead of ratings, you have relationship insights. You can select if this client is marketing opt-in, any follow-up action, when, and note. Based on when, this will be displayed on calendar. So if you want to get a notification, for example, for next appointment with this client on 26th of November, you have to submit the follow-up reminder date and the action. And you also have a few transactional insights, like total orders of this client, the amount, paid amount, outstanding balance if he owes you money, average order value, and last purchase date and first purchase date. So you can filter based on clients that doesn't purchase for some time now. Also, here are the tiers that's working automatically based on the tier you've set it on the setup page, like we said at the beginning. So since total sales are below 10, every client is new. Next, we have employee summary. Here it's a tab where you can have summaries for your employees. You have to list your employees here. Select a date range if you want to view the revenue these employees brought, expenses, commissions, anything you want for that employee, profitability, business cost, total paid, anything. Then you have a payroll calculator, simply by setting the rate, hours, and deductions, anything, you get the net pay, so it's just for your convenience. And you have a transaction finder based on your employees. You can find either sales they made, either payment or expenses they made. You can set also date range if you want to narrow down the results. And that's pretty much the employee summary tab. Again, we have light bulbs anywhere. Okay, if you need more details, it's there, it's for you, it's helpful. Next, let's jump on the task tracker. A pretty straightforward tab where you can list tasks that you get reminders on calendar also, and the dashboard. Set your task, which client has to do, if delegate to any of your employees, the status, due date, so you can get reminders, priority, and don't forget to check it if you done it. Okay, that's easy tab. One important thing, because I'm getting questions about it very often. If you want to remove, you have either delete it, again make new entry, or you have every time filter based on this one, selecting the false. Okay, let's say these two, again filter only false. It's the only way you can do it, by using the filter option. And that's it with the task tracker. Again, if you have any questions, I'm just a message away through Etsy chat, through my website, through email, anything you want. Let's go now on the Smart Calendar tab. Let me reduce the size a bit. Here, from up here, you can select the month, the year, anything. Okay, you want to view the calendar. Also, you can select which entries you want to have into the calendar. Let's say I want only the clients, so I have to send SMS reminder to Penelope at 11th. Okay, add notes or tasks. I have these tasks. All these are also over here, based on the selected month and year and the entries that I want. Okay, now I want it all. Also, the calendar displays the invoices from the sales that I made, the orders that I haven't received yet but have a delivery date, the tasks have a due date, and the clients that have a follow-up reminder. Also, everything explained over here for each one. Today's notification section showing what we have for today. It's 13. We have book next appointment. And that's it. Let's go now on the print invoice tab. Print invoice tab gives us the selected tab from a sale we made. For example, I have this one selected, test for video invoice number with soy candle 10 pieces. So generate all the details based on the selected. You can add any notes you want here. Okay, and I can change it from offer, draft, or invoice. After that, just by going file, print, it's ready for print. Next, let's go to monthly report tab. It's a tab where all you have to do is select the month, year, and the amount type you want to view on the boards below. Here we have, let's say, January of 2026. We have these amounts for January, these for February, etc. Okay, since, as we said, monthly report, 12-month period, and custom view tabs showing revenue shows the amounts, no matter if they paid fully or half. They are showing the total amount for the invoices that issued. For example, we have a revenue from service on February of this amount, just because we've submitted income payment, okay, for service without invoice number. That's also a revenue, because no matter if we have an invoice for that entry, it's still counting. That might be affiliate commission, digital product, sponsorship, anything that doesn't add or deduct something from our inventory. So a monthly report we have those which invoice issued and are receivable, invoice payment receivable collected and didn't assign to any of the categories we've created, and same for expenses. On the monthly report tab, we have an inventory movement area where we can select if we want to view material, packaging, anything for that month. Either it's in, out, difference, sold, unit cost, cost of goods sold, stock value, everything. Also, we have the option over here to change between revenue breakdown and expense breakdown for the selected month, and stock values, cost of goods sold breakdown also. Next, we have 12-month period tab. Select between total net tax amount, and the boards will be displayed accordingly. Profit performance by month, showing net revenue, total expenses by month, the profit, and month profit goal progress. Everything is over here. And next, we can select between all these and see for each month how many in, out, and difference. Okay. Next month also 36 in, 12 out, difference includes this one. Okay. Next, we have custom view tab. Custom view tab, it's a tab where you can compare up to 4 different custom date periods, where you can select it over here and the boards will be displayed accordingly. And you can compare these periods by selecting which period you want to compare from over here. The checkboxes that you notice next to each period indicates if you want these amounts for the selected period included on the summaries and the graphs. For example, if I don't want the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd period, just the first one, I leave just the first one selected, and I have the summaries just for the 1st of January till the end of January. Okay. Perfect. So as we said, these 3 tabs show the revenue, no matter if we've collected or not that money. On the other hand, in the balance tab, we can have the full cash flow. Okay, we can set a date range starting from a few years back anyway, so we have always max of the cash flow balance, and have selected always the today. Otherwise, we can set a specific date range, let's say 1st of January till 5. So we know for these 5 days we've collected this amount, expenses this, leaving a total balance of this, okay, with this due amount. So it's over here, you can use it as you want. Last but not least, before we hop on the dashboard tab, we have the product price calculation tab. Over here, you can perform calculations for products. You can set a profit margin that you want, a discount, a tax, select a product, select a recipe if the product has a recipe, and select either to use the materials from recipe, which works automatically, and make the calculation, or you can do it manually. Select and assign materials that we want. Okay, any labor costs and other costs. After that, if we are okay with this calculation, with total cost and selling price and discount and final price, everything, we can come up over here, select this area, hit Command C and paste it as values only over here. That way we are having a pricing database. Pricing database is useful when you are making a sale. For example, sale over here. You can select, let's say, vanilla. Okay, suggested price is this one. And that's because that's the price our calculation indicates, along with the profit margin, discount, and tax. Okay, so you can create a pricing database with all the products, and every time you're making a sale, you can assign the price based on this calculation, or you can select any price you want. And that's it with the product price calculation tab. Also has a product finder, since we have only this one, brings the details for that product. And let's go now into our last tab, dashboard tab. Dashboard tab has an area with bold line, as you can see, which update these details based on the date range over here. We can select between today, for example, today. We know that we had a cash in, cash out, a negative cash flow, a total revenue. Okay, yesterday or last 7 days, all time, last month, last 30 days, or custom range. So we can have details for the select date range. Outside of this date range, we have what's for today, a small calendar over here that highlight the dates with events. We can jump on calendar and figure everything out. Okay. We have also another section for the upcoming events, where we can select between today, tomorrow, next 3 days, next 5 days, and filter the results. We're not waiting any orders for the next 7 days. Anyway, that's this area. Overdue invoices that are payable or receivable. We can use the arrow to jump right on this invoice, so we know that this invoice is unpaid of this amount with this client. Okay, it's pretty helpful. We have 12-month revenue month by month and a month by month invoice overview, 12-month performance, and cash flow. Invoiced, paid, outstanding, collection rate, the revenue, expenses, cash in, cash out, net cash flow, everything is over here. Next, we have a few graphs and outstanding orders with a delivery date, the order placed or supplier name, and also an area with the inventory stock alerts. That's very helpful. For example, we can select low stock and we can see the items with stock lower than the minimum quantity we've said. How much we have and the minimum we've said. Also, last in date, we haven't ordered anything yet, but if you notice, there is a small cart over here. When you see for an entry for a stock alert that has a cart over here, that means there is a match with an order. So if we jump over here, I can see order placed for fragrance oil, 1000 ml, perfect. Meaning that these two doesn't have, so I have to order. Same for in stock or no stock, perfect. I've already ordered. I can also navigate through other pages for space efficiency. And that's pretty much everything with this template. Of course, if you have any questions or you need any help, don't hesitate to contact me. I've put a lot of work in this template and I hope to make your business and life way much easier. If there is anything else, I'm one message away. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing Serenata's templates. Until next time, bye. Take care.